It is time for our favorite feature. Is that McNuts?
All right, here we go, Greeny.
With Monica McNutt. Here we go. If I were to say SGA proved he is the MVP yesterday, is that McNuts?
You know, I got to talk to our production team. I took a little bit of exception to this question because it's a regular season award. However, this is not McNuts. He had a monster game, 35 points when it was most needed. Game 7, closeout. He led the way in terms of this team's ability to respond. Their defense was terrific. We mentioned the 27 points in transition and 37, I believe, off of turnovers.
I'm not sure why they haven't announced this award yet. We'll do some looking into it.
Right.
Suspense.
Yeah.
Right.
But they could have gotten knocked out yesterday.
Correct. That would have been something.
Meanwhile, if I were to say everybody is sleeping on the Pacers, is that McNutt?
After a great conversation in the green room with the Morris twins, I think this is McNuts. Who's sleeping on the Pacers? And I'm saying that as someone who works with this New York Knicks organization. The Pacers are good. They took care of business versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tyrese Halliburton having a great postseason, a terrific clutch scorer in this postseason. They've got defense and they've got offense that clicks at a high level. I don't know who's sleeping on this team.
We learned last year.
Shouldn't be sleeping on this team.
Well, they have the longest odds to win the championship.
Maybe
they were a 5 seed. There may be a degree.
They're not awake yet.
Yeah.
They're napping. Maybe the world is napping on this team. Finally, here we go, McNutt. If I said the Celtics title window was one and done, is that McNuts?
Listen, I'm going to go with this one being McNuts, okay? I think the window currently is undergoing major renovation, but it is not closed just yet. Look, you still have Jaylen Brown there. Jason Tatum's going to get healthy. The nature of where we are in the NBA is dynasties hard to come by. Like, we're looking at our 7th different champion in as many years. And so I would not say that the window is closed. I just don't think that you're going to see, obviously, they didn't win this year. The back-to-backs are probably, that era is over.
Well, there is also the Jason Tatum reality of it, and it is horrible, but he didn't just get hurt for the remainder of this series, right? We all know this is an injury that is going to cost him most, if not all, of next season. And Windy, if he was here, would start running through all the litany of contractual realities facing this team and new ownership and everything else.
I can give it to you.
Go.
I mean, they're facing, well, keep it simple. They're facing a potential of $500 million in luxury tax because they're in the repeater now. That's not sustainable. I mean, imagine putting that much money out and you're not paying players with that. That's the tax on what you're paying the players. You're at almost $227 million in just payroll. They can't sustain that. That is not sustainable. So this will be where Tatum and Brown, this is now 2 iterations of a team around them. The team that went to the finals that they lost to Golden State, that team would look different than this team that won a championship. They're going to have to now, with these 2 guys as a centerpiece, build again around them. So the window with these 2 guys is not closed because they're in their prime. But the window of this iteration of the Celtics certainly has to be, just financially, it tells you they cannot continue.
That's a whole lot of dollar bills. Oh, my God.
And there is a new ownership situation, and there seems to be some uncertainty surrounding that as well. I won't get over my skis on that because I don't know that we know all the details. One way or another, there's a great deal of uncertainty going forward in Boston. No Jason Tatum, certainly at the beginning of next year, and we'll see how much of it throughout all of next season. So when we look back on this Celtic team, and the injury to Tatum is just, well, look, there's the question on the screen. Is there an asterisk? I'm offended by the question being up there, and it's my own show. Like, there is no asterisk in sports. Part of winning a championship is staying healthy, right? The asterisk, that's just part of this thing. It is a marathon. Injuries happen. History does not write down who got hurt along the way. You wind up winning the championship. This, of course, was the terrible moment. But was this moment in its own way, in your mind, Marcus, the last time we will see this group of Celtics together?
For sure, man. I think first you have to get off Porzingis. I don't know what you get back from him. He's non-existent. And obviously Drew Holiday's up as well. I think you float Drew. I know that's going to be tough coming, talking about Boston. But you float Drew and you see what you can get back from him, right, during the season. And you could put around Jaylen Brown and see how far he can carry the Celtics, I would say, up into the trade deadline. And if it doesn't look right, I think you have to reevaluate it. And then make that move.
But there's a reason why this roster costs so much, right? Can you get pieces that still allow you to compete and it be affordable? Like,
You got to go a year without repeating.
Well, there may be a more realistic question.
That.
That is this a championship contender without Jason Tatum anyway? And if it isn't, then you might as well start making, for lack of a better word, breaking it all up build it all up again at some point in the future.
Yeah, and I think this is a period where we're going to start seeing people auditioning in different ways. You know, you're going to see more opportunity for different players to see if they stay or if they go. And like you said, you know, there are a lot of things out of control. You know, Drew Holiday was dealing with some injuries. Porzingis was dealing with an illness. Like, those are out of control situations. But then it makes you question, all right, what is the value I'm getting back moving forward if I'm only going to get this player for X amount of time? When it comes to the Boston Celtics, there's a core that you have to protect. And you talk about the dollars, right? And the cents. You know, I feel like watching what happened with the Phoenix Suns is the greatest cautionary tale for any new owner in the NBA. Because that second apron will absolutely hamper you. Remember, Phoenix doesn't own their own draft pick until 2032. You know, think about they're not able to you know, maintain trades, especially when you have like a no trade clause with someone like Bradley Beal. Like, they're looking at these circumstances and learning from it. And I think they're going to have some tough decisions. But the core, I believe, can remain the same. But the surrounding pieces, maybe
What's the core, though? Who are we coring?
The core is Tatum and Brown.
Not White?
And Derek White.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and say Derek White, too. And he's terrific.
Yeah,
I did not mean that to shortchange him. But the reality is you are building around Tatum and Brown for the future.
Yes.
Right? That's a pretty good place to start.
Absolutely. But
no?
The previous question that was put up there
come back
about
to it.
the asterisk.
Yeah.
So, was it the Raptors championship that have an asterisk on it because they lost KD and Klay Thompson?
Yes, but no one remembers that.
I don't really remember them talking much about an asterisk there. Was there an asterisk for the Timberwolves because Steph Curry wasn't available? Was there an asterisk on that series, or are the Timberwolves legit?
People talk about 2020, the
Lakers' second championship. We want to go back to 1988 when Isaiah Thomas had an ankle injury where he just barely could walk. Still had 25 and a quarter, but still. Is that an asterisk on that championship? No. As you said, the healthy team wins most of the time. And so if you have injuries, that's part of the deal. No asterisk.
All right, let me leave that there for the moment. We have something we do every single month. Quarter of a century, the Knicks are one of them. The New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. They trounced the Celtics in Game 6, winning it in 6. They will host the Pacers beginning Wednesday night. Indiana knocked the Knicks out of last year's playoffs in Game 7 of the conference semifinals. It feels almost as though every time the Knicks have gone deep in the playoffs in recent and even not so recent memory, because all of this is forever ago, it's Indiana they've played. That was the scene outside the Garden on Friday night. The guy with the flip-flops still on top of the marquee.
He's still trying to get down. It was easy to get up. It was hard to get down.
It has been crazy here and fun in a lot of different ways. And we have several days to look forward to the series. But I want to start again. I remind everyone, Monica and Alan are with the Knicks basically every single day. Brian Scalabrine, who is an interesting perspective to get, who is with the Celtics every day, as you guys are with the Knicks, and clearly has like a finger on the pulse of that team and his heart beats with them. He said afterwards, I thought this was fascinating. He said on some level, the Celtics deserve to lose because they cheated in the way they approached the series. And I will say that a lot of people that I talked to around the city the last couple of days came away with the perspective the Celtics had no respect for the Knicks whatsoever with the way they approached the series. Did that, you guys who are experts, did you feel that watching it? Anyone?
Well, I'll defer to players on this one.
Did you feel that way?
I looked at it from a media standpoint.
I didn't feel like they played with the series. I think we have to go back, right? I just think they didn't take care the end of the game. They were up 20 in Boston 2 times.
Right.
Like they approached the series the right way. I think just at the end they settled for so many threes instead of like just actually stomping them.
Well, this is how many threes did they miss in the series?
They missed 180 threes in 6 games.